Well, greetings, YouTube. LMS Tactical here. This is going to be another departure from I like to say my normal subject matter, but I'm all over the board lately, or all over the map when it comes to consistent videos. How much politics can a person take? I mean, we all know what's going on. This one's about toxic people. Obviously something, has happened in my life that's made me jettison some baggage that I've been carrying around for a long time. And I don't feel sad. I don't feel mad. I feel absolutely free, and that's why I think it's incumbent upon me to share not the details of the incident. I don't even want to validate the individual, because who knows, they may slide onto this video someday. I would venture to guess that all of us either have at one time had, or right now are living with, somebody that's toxic. Somebody that is a happiness vampire. Somebody who, when they walk into the room or they call you, you hear their voice, they just suck the fucking joy right out of your heart. Hopefully this is not somebody you're married to, and in my case it's not that at all. But this was a family member, and I'm slow on the uptake. Sometimes I'm too nice. I'm almost 54 years old, and I've spent almost 54 years trying to fit this absolute fucking chunk of negative human meat into some kind of a way where that person would benefit from the authentic love that I had, or tried to have. And that included bringing all of my, people around me into the relationship. I mean, when you bring a piece of fucking kryptonite into Superman's family, you're gonna fucking destroy everybody. So, my message, and I'm not some fucking psychiatrist, but as a retired cop, I like to think I have a little bit of sociological fucking training, just dealing with people in just about every kind of scenario. And it's one of those things where I'm great at giving advice, but it's very hard for me to take my own advice. Had somebody else come to me and told me just 1% of what this individual was bringing, or more accurately taking from the relationship, I would have said dump this fucking person long ago. And the bottom line is, it's not going to be, this is not a mystery. I mean, obviously I'm talking about my father, but just because somebody fucks your mother and you come flying into the world, there is a school of thought where, well, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that person, so I owe an allegiance, and I'm gonna support, and no matter what, I'm gonna let this person shit all over me my entire life, and I'm gonna be a good son or a good daughter. I have evaluated this to the 10th degree, and I'm telling you, it's just my opinion. When somebody enters a relationship, no matter who they are, if they're your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, your son, or your daughter, I mean, at a certain point, people become responsible for their own actions, like usually when they're about, after they're 10 years old. But when you've got somebody whose sole purpose in life is feeding and enhancing their own ego and their own comfort level at the expense of anyone who gets near them, you got to cut them the fuck out. I mean, a cancer tumor in your body is part of your body, and your body's supposed to be your temple, but only a fool would let that fucking tumor grow without hacking it out. So it's taken me a long time, and I've given endless chances to this guy. And, finally, I mean, even I have a fucking line that you can't cross. Even if you're Jesus, there's certain things you can't do, man, without having to pay the piper. And in this case, it's fucking excommunication, man. And this should have happened many, 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 many years ago. Many, 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 many years ago. This should have happened. And now it has. And my family is happier. My extended family is happier. My friends are patting me on the back saying it's about time. Anyone who has been within 10 feet of this fucking... this... and I don't even look at it as disrespect, man. I'm just telling you the way it is. I mean, if the emperor's walking around naked, you gotta say, hey, the emperor has no clothes on. I mean, this dude, this person, and the details, I guess, aren't really important, I mean, but in this case, his thing is, it's all about ego. It's all about what I can get somebody to think about me, even though none of it's true, If they can think I'm an awesome person, even though I'm a fucking shit stick, and even though not one single relationship, whether it's with a fucking friend, a family member, nothing, a person they meet, not one has lasted. Some people are so fucked up that they're just incapable of understanding that there's more to life than fucking me. And I'm telling you, this is my advice to you. If you got somebody that's in your life, I don't give a shit if you're married to them. Look, man, I was married for 20 years and I hacked off a cancer cell because she crossed the fucking line. You gotta have fucking self-respect. You gotta have love for yourself. You have to have your boundaries. And I'm all about second chances. I'm all about fifth chances on most things. But in every relationship, including my dog Charlie laying here, I love him more than anything in the world, but if he jumped up and bit me on the fucking face and ripped my nose off, I'd pull my gun out and blow his brains out, because there's certain lines that even he can't cross. You understand? So if you're laying in bed next to somebody and you're thinking to yourself, what the fuck am I doing with this turd? Get the fuck out. And you can come up with a million excuses. Oh, but the kids and this and that. I was married for 20 years to somebody I thought I loved more than anything on the fucking planet. And, who was I kidding? The good news is because in my mind, everything was great. I had a great time, It was actually, in her case, it was her that was laying next to a guy that she was thinking, what the fuck am I doing with this guy? So, hopefully she's learned. You got to get the fuck out, man. You try, yeah. You try to fucking fix things that are fixable. Some things are not fixable. In this case with fucking dickhead, it's, I knew the guy fucking never loved me since I was a kid. I knew that. And I was still willing to overlook it. I was still able to fit that, force that fucking square peg into the round hole. But in this case, I got the fucking right in my face from his own words that, he just basically fakes me out to get shit. I tricked this guy into doing shit for me by, talking nice to me and shit, saying shit that's not true. I don't need that, man. And I feel like I just lost 75,000 pounds. I really do. It's such a freedom. It's just like after the divorce with my 20-year, fucking alleged wife, I remember crying like a little school baby, well, how will life go on? I don't know anything else. What will happen? Who's going to want an old man? Blah, blah, blah. I was crippled at the time and walking around on a cane. I was in a wheelchair. Who's going to want me? I'm on the other side of the country now. I'm with the right woman. I've been married 10 years. I love like I've never loved before. I'm being loved like I've never been loved before. I have absolute joy in my life. I give joy to other people. I get joy by giving joy. I'm happy by making people happy. I provide, I care, I'm compassionate. All of those fucking traits that fucking toxic Johnny never had. And you probably know a toxic Johnny who is some old friend that you're wondering why the fuck you're friends with him. Hack that motherfucker off. You may be sleeping next to toxic fucking Susie or toxic fucking Sally. Get her out of your goddamn life. It's not worth it. And I'm telling you, man, there is some fucking happiness and joy once you get rid of baggage. Baggage that does nothing but bring you down. You know, I got the sweetest wife on the face of the earth right now. This fucking turd. Hey, let me back up. If you can fucking make my wife not like you, you are a special kind of fucked up asshole. And my wife fucking can't stand this guy. And she tried and tried and tried, and finally she's like, man, this guy's just an asshole. She didn't say it in those words, but she's, you know, don't fucking let people steal your happiness. When you get that fucking phone, when you see their name on the phone and you're like, oh my God. Or worse yet, you know, they knock on your door and they show up and you're like, oh God. You need to ask yourself, what the fuck am I doing? Kick them the fuck out of your lives. Life is short. You really can be happy, and you really will enjoy the absence of these fucking cancerous tumors that attach themselves like fucking, you know, they're like fucking parasites. They stick their little parasitic needles into your fucking life and they suck out all the joy. Get them out of your life. That's my message to you guys. I hope you're having a good beginning of the week. LMS Tactical. Go get rid of the asshole that's fucking up your life. I'm out of here.